The Who's down in Who Newville were making their list, but some didn't know Walmart has the best brands for their gifts.
What about toys? Do they have brands kids have been wanting all year?
Yep, Barbie, Tony's, and Lego. Gifts that will make them all cheer.
Do you mean they have all the brands I adore?
They have Nintendo, Nespresso, Apple, and more.
What about...
So the Who answered questions from friends till they were blue. Each one listened and shouted, from Walmart? Who knew? Shop gifts from top brands for everyone on your list in the Walmart app.
Get ready to shop Lowe's Black Friday doorbuster deals to save $150 on a 30-inch Blackstone griddle, now $299. Plus, choose a Whirlpool top-load washer or Midea top freezer refrigerator for just $398. These limited-time doorbuster deals go fast, so get holiday ready today at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid 11/28 through 12/1. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details.
The Mario Rosenstock Podcast with On Ice, Ireland's premium ice skating experience, where winter memories are made. Visit onice.ie.
GoLoud. Sounds better with us.
Coming up on this episode of the Mario Rosenstock Podcast.
Woody Harrelson introduced me to Morgan Freeman and says, Morgan, Keith wrote all the mentalism and magic for the movie. He can read minds. Now, I can't read minds, right? I can obviously hack brains and do things like that, which is a whole other thing. So ultimately, when he said that, Morgan Freeman in his booming voice said to me, I challenge you to read my mind.
Did he?
I swear to God, that's the first thing he said to me. And I'm like, I got really, really nervous and I didn't know what to do on him.
So what happened next? Well, Ireland's most famous mentalist, Keith Barry, reveals all a bit later in this episode of the Mario Rosenstock Podcast. Keith has been on our stages and screens now for 25 years, and he's been all over the world performing his mentalism in all sorts of situations, including on the sets of Hollywood movies and in the homes of famous Hollywood actors. And he's got some great insider stories about that coming up in this episode. Keith is about to embark on what might be, and this is an exclusive, his very last ever tour. This one will be dark, it will be dangerous, and it's one that will also be very personal for Keith, as he's taking his late dad's ashes on tour with him. This was one of his dad Ken's last requests, and Keith tells me all about Ken and the relationship they had. We also talk about the qualities of a great magician, what makes a great magician, nightmare corporate gigs, and why AI is going to make you want to go to more live gigs.
He rang me, he was like, you won't believe who I'm standing next to. I was like, who? And he's like, Keanu Reeves. It turns out he's got a phobia of magic. He doesn't want you to do anything on him, but he's having a house party this Thursday night. He wants you to come up to his house party and mess with all his friends' brains, but don't go near him or he'll punch you in the face. I looked around the room. There's about 150 people in the room. I was like, oh, this is not good. This is not good. Because I noticed there was 3 guys on the outskirts of the room, and I noticed that they were packing. I mean, they were carrying guns, right? And I'm like, oh no, they're criminals. I'm in criminal territory, firmly in criminal territory, right? But then sitting on the other side of Woody is Kylie Minogue. Okay, I'm like, okay. And then I see Rita Ora walking in and walking over to Woody. I'm like, okay, it's the 4 of them and me. This is going to be interesting. Yeah. So I go over and sit down. And then Kylie was brilliant. She was like, who wants shots? I was like, me, deadly.
My full chat with Keith Barry coming up very shortly. But it's Black Friday weekend and there are some great deals on offer.
Hello, it's Ivan Yates here, and I'm here to tell you about my amazing Black Friday media training deal. I'm doing a 3-for-2 deal on my presidential candidate interview bootcamp course. 50% off my super spoofer half-day workshop and an amazing 75% off my 3-day online course. This is a good one. How to run rings around Oireachtas committee members. Hurry up and get on it. It's a good thing. 8 to 1 on. When they're gone, they're gone.
How are you? I'm Ray Darcy.
And I'm Michael T. Higgins.
And we're just 2 normal guys with a bit of time on our hands who've launched a new podcast.
Yes.
About all the things normal guys get up to.
Yes.
So dive in and check out our easygoing chats about stuff like ultra running,
The poetry of the Austro-Hungarian Empire,
the benefits of pickle take,
bilateral diplomacy in an era of global economic protectionism.
Injecting stem cells into your feet to extend your lifespan.
And lots more.
And we have a great Black Friday deal on just for this weekend.
Yes, indeed.
50% off all subscriptions and a signed book of poems about hake for every subscriber.
Wonderful. This is Michael O'Leary. Black Friday deals are my favourite day of the year because it's when Irish people really reveal just how stupid they actually are. So what we do is we take a load of €2.99 flights to questionable destinations, hike them up to €1,000 2 weeks before Black Friday, and then reduce them to €500 on the big day. The punters scoop up tons of these flights to total hellholes, thinking they've got a great deal. The only one getting a great deal is yours truly. And if the consumer regulator gives me any crap, he can shut up.
And exclusive comedy every week on the Mario Rosenstock podcast. And if you want to contact me, it's mariorosenstock@gmail.com. I get back to them, nearly all of them, and I read them all. So if you want to contact me, you want a constructive criticism, you want to shower us with praise, ideas for sketches, new characters that I haven't done yet that I may have missed, or simply if you want to hire me to do something special in the corporate world, or come and see me live. My tour is just ending this weekend. But I'll be going to London on February the 7th, Saturday, February the 7th. If you know anybody in London, please tell them to come to the Shaw Theatre, February 7th, my first ever London gig. That would be great. Just tell one other person, as I've said before. Okay, thanks to give our sponsor some love. That is On Ice, Ireland's premium ice skating experience. It returns this season and is bringing back the magic of ice skating nationwide this festive season. Locations in Dundrum and Swords in Dublin, Marina Market in Cork, as well as locations in Waterford and Limerick. Get down there. Enjoy Ireland's #1 festive and family entertainment this Christmas. It's fresh, it's vigorous, it's invigorating. I'm going to be going down there soon. Grab your tickets now at onice.ie. Okay, let's get straight over to Keith Barry, who's ready and waiting in the GoLoud studio. He says, perhaps, to embark on maybe his last ever tour. Keith and I have something in common. We've been doing what we do for 25 years.
So listen, buddy, you're heading. It's a kind of 25 years for you as well as it was for me. Yeah,
yeah. It's like Westlife. Us. Everybody seems to be 25 this year. What's
John Bishop.
Yeah.
John Bishop was doing it as well.
We're still getting away with it.
As a lot of, I think 25 is a good number. But this year was different for you because you're bringing sort of a big show to the 3 Arena.
Yeah.
And this is the first, I suppose, show that you're going to be doing after the death of your father. And I know you don't mind talking about the death of your father.
Not at all, yeah.
And he died in January, isn't that right?
January 25th.
And his name was Ken.
Ken, yeah.
And you had a very close relationship with him.
Yeah, very, very close. Look, it wasn't always like that. In my teens, I suppose like everybody, I battled with him and fought him and all the rest. But like shortly after that, we got very close and we became best buddies. Like all my friends are best friends or were best friends with my dad, you know.
And it must feel a little bit, I suppose, emotional for you to be going, right, because he's a big person who passes in your life. I mean, I believe your mum lives with you every so often?
Yeah, well, yeah, she's over and back every couple of days. So she lives half the time in our house and half in our house, yeah.
And so this must feel kind of a bit of a page turning in your life. My first big show, I'm going into the 3 Arena and, my dad's passed. I suppose that's been going through your mind.
Yeah, of course. And look, he loved coming to my shows and he loved the blackguardry of my shows and the mayhem that I sometimes encourage on the stage in my shows. Like,
did he like coming, yeah?
Oh, he loved them.
Oh, great.
His favourite thing was that I ever did was Vegas. Like, he didn't really care too much about anything else except Vegas. And
being in Vegas?
Yeah, when I headlined in Vegas.
And could he come?
Yeah, he went out and then he partied like an animal. And my mother was there, like, but she was trying to peel him off tables in Vegas. Like,
yeah?
He was up dancing on tables.
Was he?
Oh, yeah. He was known as a party animal. My dad was actually quite well known. My dad, back in the day, he worked for Tipperary Crystal. And he was a marketing director, but like he was a really good marketing director. So he ended up on like the Late Late Show, and one time when he was on there, he was on with Richard Branson, and my dad started to take his trousers off on the Late Late Show in front of Gay Byrne and Richard Branson.
Yeah.
So that was a whole thing. And then he was a judge at the Rose of Tralee for years and years and years. So he's quite well known, but he was known for being that gregarious, outgoing character. And actually, the week leading up to when he was passing, he turned to me and his favourite show that I'd ever done was The Dark Side. And that's gone back a long time. And it was basically around kind of contacting the other side and witchcraft and voodoo. So it was a very dark kind of show. And literally the week that he was, he passed on the 25th January. So that week, he knew I was doing the 3 Arena. He knew I was going to do the 3 Arena. He said, "Bring me on tour." I said, well, "What do you mean, bring you on tour, Dad?" He said, "Do the dark stuff again. Bring me on tour. Try and contact me and fuck him up."
Wait.
That's the exact way he said it.
Did
Right?
he?
So I was like, okay. So I'm bringing my dad on tour. Like he's part of the show. So I'm bringing my dad's ashes on tour. And I'm
For
doing
real?
For real.
They're going to be in the room.
Well, here's the thing I've never told. I haven't told this in any other podcast, but because we know each other, I said I'd save it for you, Mario. I have 2 of my dad, or rather my mother has 2 of my dad, which is highly unusual. So the Undertaker turned up a couple of weeks later and he said, "This is really unusual, but I've got 2 urns of your dad." I said, "Well, what do you mean it's unusual?" He said, "Look, your dad must have had very dense bones or something." There's actually 2 of them. So I was like, okay, so normally you only get one.
Really dark.
No, I can laugh about it because he has a dark, sarcastic sense of humour. But anyway, ultimately, one of those is coming on tour with me, and I'm going to do a séance. And look, public safety announcement. I don't believe anybody can contact the other side. I don't believe in psychics, right? But I can create a very real looking illusion that this is possible. And that's exactly what my dad would have wanted. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to push people over the edge of a cliff and dangle them there for like a good, and it's only part of the show, of course, but a good 25 minutes. I'm going to scare the bejesus out of the audience because I'm going to contact dead loved ones belonging to them as well, with a seance, with a Ouija board, and who knows what might happen and ensue. And that is in honour of my dad. It was his dying wish,
Oh, fantastic, I think. And like, is this show going to be, if you like, a slight retrospective thing, or are you going to go, no, I'm digging new material here, I'm going to up my game here? In other words, I'm wondering, does the actual act of being in the 3 Arena, because obviously I did the 3 Arena in March, and they have a new seating plan, and the new seating plan is very amphitheatrical.
Yeah, I was just there the other day, so I know exactly what you're talking about. I was up in those seats.
So it kind of curls around.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And you'll see, even I remember 20 rows back, I could see people's faces very clearly.
Which is unbelievable, isn't it, for somebody like us? Because we've been in theatres before where you can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, you do it you can in the Olympia at times, but you always think that people in the 3 Arena will be far back, but they're not. They're actually in your face a bit more. Yeah. And I'm wondering, do you feel you have to, if you like, lighting or, do you have to lift it a bit?
Oh, completely. Yeah. Like this will be the biggest show of my career, and dare I say it, I really haven't said this out loud, except I've been thinking deeply now about this show and touring. And it could be my last tour. I really am thinking that way now, and I'm not saying that for effect.
Why do you say that?
Because I've been doing this for 25 years, and most of my work, as you know, is in the corporate space, in the corporate world. So like last week I was in Sweden, next week I'm in London, and for me, like I want to spend a lot of time with my family. I really enjoy it, and it's just unsustainable
to tour
and do all the level of corporate work that you're doing.
So you'd have to drop one thing.
And if you're going to do the 3 Arena, go out with a bang. I'm not saying it's definitely the last tour, but I'm kind of 90% certain it will be. Like, do you know what I mean?
Until the farewell tour in 2030.
Well, maybe
you're the Wolf Tones.
Maybe when I'm 70 or something. but the thing is, back to your question. Yeah. Like I decided, I'm my own worst enemy, right? Because as you know, you could dip into all your material from the past and put a potpourri of that together and do that on tour and in the 3 Arena. But for me, I decided I'll write a new show. So that's what I've done. And I'm very proud of it, actually, because it's very topical. So a lot of the routines right now are very topical and of the moment. But some things are just bonkers, and that's the show's called Unhinged for a reason, right? I haven't, for example, I actually haven't done hypnosis in over 10 years on a stage. So I thought I'll put hypnosis back in the show, but I'll write brand new routines or brand new skits. So for me, that's very enjoyable, right? So I thought, you know what I'll do? I'll have a sing-off, and I've never done this before. I'll have a sing-off. So you have to, I suppose, imagine this for a moment. You're sitting in the audience, and all of a sudden you can't believe that your partner's up on stage and hypnotized. Or maybe it could be your mother, it could be your brother, it could be your sister, or it could be you up on stage, fully hypnotized. And then all of a sudden I hypnotize 4 people to think that they're Boyzone, 5 people to think that they're the Spice Girls, and 1 person to think that they're a Chinese rap star called Yin Yang. Right? So you can see where this is going. And then I'm going to have a sing-off between the the two super groups
Yeah.
and the Chinese rap star, and everybody else who's on the stage are going to be their biggest fans.
Yeah.
Right? So it'll get bonkers.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm going to hypnotize people to believe that they're werewolves and vampires.
Yeah. Oh,
so
good.
the werewolves are going to hate the vampires and stuff like that, right? And then there's going to be really kind of unhinged mental moments in the hypnosis. And with the 3 Arena, I thought, well, do you know what? The stage is so big. Well, why don't I just create the biggest hypnosis set that anybody's ever seen, certainly in Ireland.
Yes.
So I'm going to get 100 people up on stage.
Okay.
Hypnotise 100 people.
Oh, that would be
in the
amazing.
audience.
Now
It'd be
you're going
mental.
large. Yeah,
Do you
so
know what I mean?
bulk buying this.
Yeah. Like
Now that's cool.
Well,
so you're using the scale of the stage for mass hypnosis.
Exactly. And then I have a 4-camera shoot in there as well. Gigantic screens, like it's the proper production.
It is, yeah.
So you can see the faces up close. Even that, you could actually do it without cameras, to be honest. But I'm not, right? So you can, like, my cameraman, Jose, he's done this many times with me, but he'll be able to like get right in the faces of people on stage, so you'll know.
And I've seen, of course, these massive LED screens in the things. I use them myself, and they're excellent.
Yeah, unbelievable. So look, I'm really excited. So because there's dark elements to it, there's hilarious elements. So the show is designed.
So you're throwing everything at it.
Yeah, and it's a roller coaster journey of scary bits, funny bits, mystifying bits. And then at the end, I've got a 5-minute empowerment piece where in the 3 Arena, for example, all 5,000 people will leave with a brain hack that will benefit their lives. So in other words, this will help them get over a fear or a phobia or an anxiety. So I've designed a brain hack that will work for everybody.
That's good.
So just leave it that feel-good factor.
Excellent.
When they're finished as well.
Yeah,
Do you know what
get it.
I mean?
Yeah, brilliant.
And to finish it off, I've also got a scorpion. But I'm not going to give away what the routine is, but you have to use your imagination. I've got a real scorpion. It's called an Asian forest scorpion, right? So the scorpion with a sting, okay, so the scorpion, more people die of scorpion stings per year than they do snake bites, right? So I've got a scorpion. I've called him Fluffy, by the way, right? So I've got Fluffy the scorpion. So imagine that Fluffy is going to be in a routine involving my mouth, gaffer tape, somebody slapping me in the face, right?
I'm picturing stuff.
Handcuffs and a Rubik's Cube.
Hey,
right?
okay, I got
it. So like, you can see it's original. It's new. It's mental.
And everybody in that crowd in the 3 Arena will see you up close.
Yes,
because of the screens and everything, and how close they are themselves. Brilliant. I'm feeling it. And it's a scoop for us because, like, it might be, as you say, your last tour. Wow. And well, what a way to go out.
Yeah, like, and I actually am more and more certain every day that this will be my last tour. I loved Brendan Grace. Like, I loved him. I loved him as a person. I met him many times. And I remember I saw him the first time in, I think it was the Strand Hotel in Tremor. And I was down there. It's like, this guy's deadly, And then I remember seeing him years later. And there's like, I don't know, maybe 50 people in the audience, and there was the Grey Rinse Brigade. I was just like, I don't ever want to go on that long that you lose your audience and you're still trying to make it happen. And I'm assuming Brendan probably just did it for the love of it because, he probably didn't need the money at that stage. I don't know. But I just said to myself, I don't ever want to get to that stage where you're just playing to half full theatre and, you're wondering why you're standing there. So that's part of the reasoning as well,
Yeah, go out while you're still sort of in your physical and mental peak as well, I suppose. Yeah. I mean, I suppose Brendan did suffer from type 1 diabetes as well, so he had a lot of health issues,
for sure.
and that affected his feet and everything,
Yeah,
so,
and like, you have to be fit to be on a stage.
Oh my God.
You're active on the stage, and I'm active on the stage. Like, I don't just stand there. Like, I'm sprinting, like during the hypnosis in particular, I'm sprinting up and down the line and I'm putting people to sleep, and my energy is high.
Absolutely. But if you ask Britney or if you ask Beyonce or any of those people, dancing and singing at the same time is really hard.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Really hard because to hold control over things. So it's the same thing as what you do and what I do. So let's talk about the corporates for a minute, because I'm fascinated by that, and I know that the audience are as well, because they hear this word corporates and they go, well, they know comedians do corporates and magicians do corporates. I mean, like, you go around the world doing corporates. Basically, briefly, what are they?
So I suppose there's two different elements, right? So one is like what you said, comedians and people like myself. Very often you just get hired to do after dinner entertainment. So I'm doing one today, right? It's down the road from here, and it's for a company. They're having kind of an one day off-site, so they'll have a recap of the year. They'll talk about next year, but then they're also bringing me as a segue into, and so today's just entertainment is what I'm saying. So I'm just down there, 40 minutes, pure entertainment, and then they're segueing into a disco and a night out.
Yeah.
So they're mixing a Christmas party. They're rare now for me, right? So for the comedians, I suppose that's most of the work that they get is after dinner entertainment. So you're hired to go on stage, entertain people after dinner, right? So that's one corporate that people might perceive. But then there's two other ones that I do. So one is I get to MC a lot, but not the MC that people would think of. So yes, I MC awards nights, for example, and, you know, just nights that people might have where perhaps they have a lot of different speakers coming up. The difference between me and other MCs is I get to, I suppose, wow or amaze people along the way. So I drip feed them moments of wonder. However, there's other types of MC gigs that I do, and they're generally abroad though. So for example, in January coming, I'm going to the States for a full week, and I'm the MC for a software conference for a full week.
Oh.
So I'm 8 hours a day, bringing people up and down, different speakers up and down on the stage. But then I do the moments of wonder. Then I do my own keynote in the middle of it. So people hear this word keynote, and I always think, does the general public actually know what a keynote is? Probably not, right? So it's basically a motivational speech. Think of it like that, right? So I'll do a keynote, and then I do entertainment at their awards one night. So it's a whole week out there as an MC, and then I do other bits as well. So I'm doing more and more of that, like 1 day to 3 day MC work, and I glue the whole event together. Think of it like that, right? And then I mentioned motivational. So people might think motivational is like Tony Robbins getting up and getting everybody high energy and high octane. My motivational keynotes are very specific to my skill set. So, for example, I've got one keynote called Beyond Words, and that's the art of nonverbal communication, and really how to create a rapport with your audience or with your employees or employers, and to gain that rapport in order to gain trust and in order then to influence people. That's that keynote. Then I have a different keynote, which is redefine the impossible. So redefine the impossible is how you can redefine the impossible on a daily basis, regardless of external circumstances, and it's all down to your mindset. And then I have another one called the Persuasion Code, the Leadership Illusion. I just did the Leadership Illusion. I won't name the company, but I did the Leadership Illusion in the 3 Arena a couple of weeks ago for 3,000 people.
Wow.
So that was amazing for me because I'd never done the 3 Arena before. So it gave me a little taster for what I've got coming up, and I loved it.
Oh, did you?
I revelled in it.
Oh, yeah. Good.
You know? So that was 3,000 people. That was the Leadership Illusion, and that is my take on on leadership. And of course, it all comes back to what I do, which is a mixture of psychology and brain hacking and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm getting more and more work in that space. Last week I was with Lindt in
Switzerland,
no, in Sweden, and then next week I'm with MasterCard in London.
Wow!
And so
so when you say you're in a place for a week and you're doing something, right? I mean. Like, you can only presume, like, you're getting paid a lot of money to do this because it's not just like 9 to 5 work here.
Yeah.
They're offering you...
It's good money, yeah.
And when you say good money, do you negotiate just a big fee for the whole week?
Yeah, it's an all-in fee for
My
the week.
God. And that's a fee, hotels, everything you eat, expenses, and a big, huge, fat fee.
Well, I wouldn't say big, huge, but a nice fee, Mario. I'm not that expensive.
No, but I just think it's fascinating because it's you're just sitting there one day, right, and the phone rings, and then 10 minutes later you're nobbling up this fee on a piece of paper, going, "I am now whatever X amount richer now today because of that phone call." Yeah,
but like you know, in the industry, people know your rate as Mario Rosenstock. They know my rate as well. So it's not like you're going to scribble down any old fee and just chuck it at them because they won't hire you anyway if you do that. So they kind of know your rate when they ring, and then if you're there for a week, then you have to do a deal on what that rate would be.
Did you ever get one? I'll get off this subject in a second, but did you ever get one where you went, Jesus, that's unbelievable amount of money?
Not really, no, because I tend not to do that to people, right? I live on...
If somebody offered you money?
No, but nobody comes to you and offers you like...
Oh, no, but see, I remember during the Celtic Tiger, right? I won't say anything about names now, right? But it was like 2000 and... Oh, let me guess the date. 2007.
Yeah.
And I get the call. Mario, we're a new mortgage company.
Okay, there we go.
You're what? New mortgage company, yeah. Now we're launching, right, in the best hotel in Dublin.
Yeah.
Right? The best hotel in Dublin, and there's going to be everybody there. It's just the afternoon, LED screens everywhere, and we want you just to do Roy Keane for 5 minutes, right? Yeah. And I went, okay, I'll work out a fee. No, well, we have 15 grand. Is that too low? And I went, what? Yeah.
You're just like, let me think about that for a minute. And then,
right. Yes, but hang on. Then I did it right and all that, and about like 6 months later, I just heard that the mortgage company like just completely exploded. And I went,
because
of course. Well, no, you're offering a guy 15 grand to do 5 minutes of Roy Keane, you know? So anyway, I was just thinking, it was just one of those ones, you know, where you're just going, this is extravagant.
No, but I do have pinch me moments from certain events that I've done. Like a pinch me moment, I'll give you a good pinch me moment, right? Where I did get good money. And but it was, I don't think I've ever told this story. Okay, what I'm about to tell you is absolute gospel truth story, right?
Okay.
I couldn't make this up. So I got hired to do an event in Barcelona, and it was for a bunch of Kazakhstani business people, right? Now, years ago, I'm talking about a long, long time ago, 20 years ago, I used to do a lot of work like with Russians, and I was flown to Russia a couple of times. So obviously you've stopped doing all that now. But when you're getting those gigs with, you know, certain foreign elements, it's always money wired into the bank first, right? Full payment before you fly out, right? Just to be on the safe side. So, grant, they paid, and it was through an agent. So the Kazakhstanis paid through an agent in Barcelona, right? So, grant. And I said to my wife, Marie, do you want to come? And she never goes to any gigs, like never. She's just not interested. I said, it's in Barcelona. I love Barcelona. They'll tag on an extra night first so we can have a night off together, and they'll look after the hotel. They've said that to us. So great, done. And then an email comes in from the agent, goes, will you do a kids party as well? And I was like, no, stop doing kids parties a long time ago. Hard no kids parties. And that was fine. So then I get there. So myself and Mairead, my wife, we get there to Barcelona. We fly in and we meet the client, Kazakhstani guy. Doesn't say hello to me, doesn't shake my hand, just straight away goes, what time is the kids party?
Okay.
And I was like, no, you asked this before. I was like, no, there's no kids party. That time is the kids party. And I knew there was going to be no taking no for an answer with this guy, right? And I was like, okay, well, what time would you like it at? He goes, 6 p.m. Okay, grand. So now what I do is I go into the bathroom, right? And I grab some toilet roll. So I do this thing, a trick using toilet roll. So so that's one routine in my head. Yeah. Got toilet roll. Yeah. I go into the kitchen of the hotel and I get like lemons and forks and spoons. Because in my head I can do that spoon bending like Yuri Geller, right? Yeah. And then got lemons. So anyway, I put this whole show together just using props I could find in the hotel. We go downstairs at 6 p.m. The kids are there. Now, all these kids, they're really rich, right? They're spoiled and they're all on their devices, right? And they'd hired a guy, like one of those WWF presenters. You know the guy who goes, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, one of them.
Gentlemen. Yeah.
Now, not the super famous one that we all know,
Michael,
but one of them, right? And he goes on in front of these like 20 kids. He goes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all the way from Ireland, we got the most amazing mentalist magician I've ever seen. So they just literally cock their eyes up from their devices. They look at me and they look back down their devices. They don't care, right? Yeah. And your man now, the client is standing, he's the only adult there. And the agent. So him and the agent are standing at the back and they're looking at this. So I go on and I do, honestly, I pride myself in saying it was a really good show, right? Yeah. And I won't lie to you. If it was crap, I'd say it was crap, right? And I knew the kids would have cash, so I said, can I borrow a €20 note? One of them gave me a €20 note. They signed it, and I went up in a ball of fire. It ended up inside a lemon that I'd gotten from the kitchen, right? It was a good show. Yeah. And afterwards, the guy comes up to me, goes, the adult show better be better than this. Okay. I was like, God. I was like, what? And he goes, last year we had Yuri Geller. He bent the spoons. The year before we had David Blaine. He put the note in the lemon. The adult show better be better than this. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's hired everybody, right? So I'm supposed to give one of these keynotes, one of these motivational speeches during dinner, right? And then I'm supposed to do entertainment after dinner as well. So it's kind of a twofold thing. So I go upstairs and I have to sit with them for dinner. It was only when I sat with them at dinner, I looked around the room. There's about 150 people in the room. I was like, oh, this is not good. This is not good. Because I noticed there was 3 guys on the outskirts of the room. And I noticed that they were packing, meaning they were carrying guns, right? And I got a glimpse of one of them. It was a Glock handgun. And I'm like, oh no, they're criminals. I'm in criminal territory, firmly in criminal territory, right? So I knew I was in a room full of criminals all of a sudden. I was like, this is bad. Okay. Right, so anyway, they had the top paleontologist in Spain there, right? Talking about the history of humanity or whatever he was talking about. And he was up giving a speech during dinner and he was really good, really interesting, right? Really engaging. And your man just goes up, again, the head honcho goes up and the guy's in the middle of a speech, rips the microphone out of his hand and goes, dinner is served, and walks off with the microphone. Jesus. No round of applause for paleontologist, nothing, right? I'm like, oh my God, I have to get through this. So anyway, I stand up and I give my 15 minutes. It was a short keynote, 15 minutes or 20 minutes. And actually it went okay. So I thought, okay, grand, done. So now I go downstairs, and when I say downstairs, there was a little theatre downstairs, right? And that's where I have to do the entertainment, the afternoon entertainment. And they were due to come down at 11 o'clock, right, down to that room. So I go down, I set up, I'm there, and it's the WWF guy, Mairead is there, and 11 o'clock, half 11, 12 o'clock, half 12. 1 o'clock in the morning they come down, right?
Yeah.
2 hours late. And they're singing the Kazakhstani national anthem on the way down, right? They're hammered. They were drinking vodka all night. They're hammered.
Yeah.
Like really hammered, right?
Yeah.
So they come down, they come into the room. And anyway, they're there, I'm there. And I realised they were so drunk, I had to flip the script, as they say. So I thought to myself, I'll put the end of my show at the start just to try and get their attention.
Yeah.
Right? They were that bad. They were that drunk, right? And I'll just put the start of the show at the end. Not the best way you would normally do it, but just to get... And the trick that I had at the time, because it was a long time ago, this, was one where I have so the end of the show is supposed to be where I have a spike hidden underneath polystyrene cups.
Oh, you did it on me.
Yeah, so I did it years ago. So I haven't done that in over 10 years, right? So, and ultimately, your hand, or the spectator's hand, gets smashed down at random on these cups, avoiding the spike. So I did that at the start to get their attention, right? But they're still not really paying attention. So I kind of hacked through the gig. And I remember the guy said, when he introduced me that time, he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Keith Barry." But as he was walking off, he dropped down his mic and he goes, "Good luck with this." Right? So I do it anyway. And at the end of the show, which is supposed to be the start of the show, all I'm doing is guessing 3 playing cards that people are thinking of, right? That they've handled a deck, they've looked at a card, and they're all thinking of 3 cards. So at the end of the show, I go, "You're thinking of the Jack of Spades, you're thinking of the Ace of Diamonds, and you're thinking of the Queen of Hearts. If I got your cards, sit down now." So 2 of the 3 sit down, but the woman who was supposed to be thinking of the Queen of Hearts, she stays standing. She goes, "No, that's not my card." Now, I know it can't be any other card, Mario. She is thinking of the Queen of Hearts, right? And she's saying it's not. And I have this kind of mini argument with her all of a sudden, because I was just annoyed at this stage myself, right? And Mairead at the back of the room was like making this, like, you know, cut it off, and she's panicking. And I couldn't figure out why she was panicking. And the guys with the Glocks are there now, right? And they're kind of showing their guns. And I'm like, what's going on here? This is a bit mad. So anyway, I shut up and I go, "Do you know what? Some minds are unhackable. You're an amazing, strong mind. Thank you and good night." And I just say, "Fuck it, I'm out of here, right? I'm done with this." So I walk off. And as I'm walking off, no joke, the guy who'd organised the Kazakhstani, he grabs me up by my elbow and walks me back on the stage, right? Jesus. And he literally grabs the mic and goes, "Get her card." And I was, "Sorry? Get her card." And I was like... And the guys with the Glocks are... And I'm like, am I actually being, like, held up here to try and guess who's playing card? And the answer is yes, I was. So I was like, okay, I got to figure this out fast. So I went, "Okay, what was your card?" And she said something like the 3 of clubs. I went, "Well, isn't that impossible now?" And she was like, "Why?" "Because the 3 of clubs doesn't exist in the deck. Check the deck yourself." So I gave her the deck and she checked the deck and there was no 3 of clubs. And I said, "Because sealed inside an envelope," because I always have an out, right? "Sealed inside an envelope in my wallet, there's one card only. Open it yourself." And she rips it open and inside there's the 3 of clubs. Now she loses her mind because she goes, "Oh my God, how did you do that? Because my card was the Queen of Hearts and then you also got the 3 of clubs. That's amazing," right? Yeah. And I got away with it. And then we ran up to the hotel afterwards. Like, we sprinted up afterwards. Like, "Gee, what was that?" And I said to Mairead, "Why were you panicking so much? I know there was guns involved, but why were you panicking so much?" She said, "Because they told me that the woman you were arguing with is the president of Kazakhstan's daughter. And you don't answer back to her." Right? You don't answer back to her. And I'm having a row with her on stage. No. And then to finish it off, she's now in jail for corruption. So that's saying there you go. There's my...
You'll get a call. So we need to get her out of jail. Come over now, Barry.
So no more Russians or Kazakhstani gigs.
Oh my God.
So they're the mental gigs.
The Who's Down and Who Newville were making their list, but some didn't know Walmart has the best brands for their gifts.
What about toys? Do they have brands kids have been wanting all year?
Yep, Barbie, Tony's, and Lego. Gifts that will make them all cheer.
Do you mean they have all the brands I adore?
They have Nintendo, Nespresso, Apple, and more.
What about...
So the Who answered questions from friends till they were blue. Each one listened and shouted, "From Walmart? Who knew?" Shop gifts from top brands for everyone on your list in the Walmart app.
Get ready to shop Lowe's Black Friday doorbuster deals to save $150 on a 30-inch Blackstone griddle, now $299. Plus, choose a Whirlpool top-load washer or Midea top freezer refrigerator for just $398. These limited-time doorbuster deals go fast, so get holiday ready today at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid 11/28 through 12/1. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Tell me about a few of the, because you've just done a lot of work in America and a lot of work on American TV.
Yeah.
And I want to hear about celebrities and just almost behind the scenes as well. So like, I think one of the ones you wanted to meet most was Morgan Freeman.
Oh yeah.
What did you do on him? What was he like?
That was mental, because it was on set of Now You See Me 2.
Yeah.
And I was on set of Now You See Me 2 for 3 months.
Yeah.
So I worked on, I do have a story about that. Remind me to tell you. So I was on set of Now You See Me 2. I'd never met Morgan, and it was at the end of filming, because Morgan wasn't on set a whole lot. And ultimately, Woody Harrelson introduced me to Morgan Freeman and says, Morgan, Keith wrote all the mentalism and magic for the movie. He can read minds. Now, I can't read minds, right? I can obviously hack brains and do things like that, which is a whole other thing, right? I'm reading body language. I'm doing a lot of different things. So ultimately, when he said that, Morgan Freeman in his booming voice said to me, I challenge you to read my mind.
Did he?
I swear to God, that's the first thing he said to me. And I'm like, now, I don't get nervous around celebrities, because I've been around celebrities since a very young age, right? I got really, really nervous, and I didn't know what to do on him. And it was a very small kind of closed unit when he said that to me, because all the lead cast were there, but then there was only 5 crew members there. It was kind of a closed set because Morgan Freeman was there. Anyhow, it took about 10 minutes, but I told him about a childhood friend of his called Boo Boo that he hadn't thought about in 60 years. He lost his mind, like started jumping up and running around the room screaming at me and stuff. And it was brilliant. And actually, John Chu, the director at the time, he didn't film it, but he just started taking snapshots.
Yeah.
And I have the most brilliant snapshot of the moment that I hacked his brain. I have it framed. It's up on the wall at home. And he's losing his mind. And then he kept saying to me, when he was trying to do his role, he kept saying to me, hey, Barry, he started calling me Barry.
Yeah.
He didn't remember my first name. He's like, Barry, can you find dead people? Are you a psychic like that? Can you find dead people? And I still don't know why he was asking me that question.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I can't, Morgan. And he kept breaking the scene, and they kept kind of saying, Morgan, you've got to act your part. You know what I mean? So that was amazing. And then, but you know, behind the scenes, look, I had a night out one time when Woody Harrelson texted me and said, look, come on, let's go out for a couple of drinks. I said, where do you want to meet? Chiltern Firehouse. So Chiltern Firehouse.
So obviously you were friendly enough with him, were you?
Yeah. Like if I text him now, he'd get back to me faster than my best mates.
Cool.
I'm still in contact with him. He was talking about me on Hot Ones the other day. He was talking about me, which is that famous YouTube program where they're eating the chicken
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So the opening segment, Woody Harrelson's talking to Sean Evans about me.
Oh, great.
Most random thing. But he said, meet me in Chiltern Firehouse, which is this kind of fancy celebrity place in London, right? So grand. So when I walk in, I nearly fainted, right? Because I look over and there's Woody. And next to him is Guy Asiri. So Guy Asiri, I think, is still David Blaine's manager. He managed U2 for a minute as well. But like, I've been around Guy enough to know that there's a bit of friction there, because I keep popping up all over the place and he's David Blaine's manager. So there's that kind of rivalry or whatever, right? Not from me, but from Guy, right? So Guy kind of looks up and kind of rolls his eyeballs at me. And so I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But then sitting on the other side of Woody is Kylie Minogue. I'm like, okay. And then I see Rita Ora walking in and walking over to Woody. I'm like, okay, it's the 4 of them and me. This is going to be interesting. So I go over and sit down, and it was a brilliant night.
Was it?
Do you know who was brilliant? It was actually Kylie and Rita Ora. Rita Ora had never seen magic before, close up. So in those environments, I do loads of magic, right? I'm just having the crack, right? And I don't take any photographs. I'm not that person. I don't take the...
And that's okay with you. You can do that, like a comedian might tell a joke with friends. You can do a bit of magic with friends.
Yeah, and Rita was loving it because she'd never seen magic before. And then Kylie was brilliant. She was like, who wants shots? I was like... Me, deadly. And we were drinking like shots of Japanese whiskey she was ordering for all of us. So it was kind of just a mental night out.
Cool.
And then the same night, Woody said, we're going somewhere. I said, where are we going? We're going to Johnny Vaughan's house.
Okay.
So you have these mad nights out with these celebrities. Like
he's a very interesting chap, Johnny Vaughan.
Well, you know what? I hope I'm not telling a tale here, but in Johnny's house, he's got like a very bizarre table full of artifacts from the world wars. And he's got like some very bizarre things there. We'll leave it at that. Right?
Yeah, he is, but he is just
interesting,
an eclectic sort of chap.
Yeah.
That's it. Like Michael Caine, did you have any with Michael Caine?
Yeah, well, I was on Paul O'Grady one time, and I was told by Michael Caine's handlers, don't do anything on Michael Caine. So I was ordered not to do anything on Michael Caine. So I just left him alone. And then I didn't meet him on set of Now You See Me. He did act on Now You See Me. So other than that, I didn't have any interaction with him. Look, when people say don't interact with somebody at that level. I tend not to cross that line. Other people will cross that line for their own gain, right? I tend to be respectful to those people. So another one was like, I was in the Newsroom Cafe, and Newsroom Cafe is this vegan place on, I can't remember Robertson Boulevard in Los Angeles, right? So I was in there having lunch, and I'm not a vegan by any stretch of imagination, but I just used to go there the odd time. And when I was in there, a guy I knew was a club promoter in LA, Josh Richmond. He comes over to me and goes, "Hey Keith, there's a friend of mine over here. Will you go over and just do something to mess with his head?" And I was like, "Okay." And when I walked over, it was Keanu Reeves. Like, it was mental. Like, it's like, this is what happens in my weird world, right? Yeah. And I'm like, Jesus, it's Keanu Reeves. So I pick up, and this is the middle of the day, so it's 1 o'clock in the day, it's lunchtime, right? So I pick up a spoon to do a spoon bend again, right? Because it was in the Matrix. So I thought this would be really cool to do this on Keanu Reeves, like just bend a spoon in real life. And he was like, "What is this? What is this?" And I was like, "Don't worry, I'm just a brain hacker. I can't see this. I can't see this." And he jumped up, I kid you not, and ran out of the restaurant, like gone. Way. Before he even got a chance to do anything. And Josh said, "I better run after him." He throws like his $100 down to pay for their bill or whatever, and he runs off. And I'm like, well, that was bizarre. And I thought no more of it. And then I told this to my wife, Mairead. I was like, "This just happened." And she was like, "Okay." And then she was flying out a few days later to LA. And in that kind of interim period, Josh Richmond, who I knew, he rang me. He was like, "You won't believe who I'm standing next to." I was like, "Who?" And he's like, "Keanu Reeves." It turns out he's got a phobia of magic. He doesn't want you to do anything on him. But he's having a house party this Thursday night. He wants you to come up to his house party and mess with all his friends' brains. But don't go near him or he'll punch you in the face. That's exactly what I was told, right? Do not go near him or he'll punch you in the face. Really? And I told this to Mairead. And Mairead thought, "You're just having me on." Because, again, this is a long time ago. Probably in her late 20s, early 30s. And she flew over, and the day she landed, we went up to Keanu Reeves' house in the Hollywood Hills, and I wandered around doing mentalism and hypnosis and magic for all of his friends. But again, I was respectful of him, and I just left him alone. So I don't have any photograph of Keanu or anything like that.
Another funny one, because he comes across, certainly on social media and people's coverage of him, as really like the nicest guy in the world.
Seems to be, yeah.
Almost like saintly. Yeah,
and I could see though in the moment when I went to pick up the spoon, he wasn't being an arsehole. He was just actually
genuinely
unnerved.
Afraid.
Yeah, I've met. There's a few people. It's like, the way you hear people who are frightened of clowns. You've heard of that.
Yeah.
Like there's a few people out there who are frightened, actually genuinely like scared of magic and scared of mentalism.
Yeah, okay.
He's one of them. So there you go.
Do you know what I wanted to talk to you about? Magicians.
Yeah.
Like here, just dumb question, right? It must be possible to learn magic.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
If you are really, really determined and able-bodied, healthy, fit, and clever, you could learn a lot of magic.
Yeah.
If you're dexterous and you have a sleight of hand, you could learn a lot of magic.
Yeah.
If everybody could learn magic, then what's to stop loads of people becoming magicians? And my question to you is, what makes a magician?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I think anybody can learn a trick, right? So anybody can be a trickster. Anybody can call themselves a magician, but to turn it into something performative and something amazing is a whole other thing. So for me, to become a magician, you kind of need a few things. One is you need some level of charisma, whether that's, look, we could talk forever as to whether that's a learned skill or something that you're born with. But you have to have a connection with people and be able to shift their emotional state. And not everyone can do that. Anyone can do a trick and create a little moment of wonder. But to create a shift, a mental shift in somebody's emotional state is a whole other thing. And that's down to having a connection and a bond with human beings. And I know this because, look, there's any amount of magicians out there online doing tricks to cameras, right? But they're connecting with people sitting on toilets scrolling through TikTok. Do you know what I mean? You're sitting there and you're just having a dump and you're looking at, oh, that's kind of interesting, next. Do you know what I mean? But that's really what's happening, right? And for me, I think magic and actually even comedy will only survive now in a good way, I think, in the real world, meaning in theatres.
Correct.
And I actually think this whole AI and digitalisation of the world is actually in the long run going to benefit people like us.
I agree.
People will
feel spammed.
Yeah, but they have to have that human touch.
No, they'll feel spammed.
Yeah.
They're sick of it. Like already, the AI stuff going on now at the moment.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just a deluge.
Yeah, it's impossible to tell
I can
what's real
feel, but I can also feel people getting tired of it.
Yeah, okay.
Because now the blur between what's real and what's not real is too tight.
Yeah.
But then you get to a stage where you go, I don't care. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's real or not real. Stop messing with me.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Do you know what is real? That building down the road.
Yeah.
Me paying 25 quid in.
Yeah.
And he'll walk on stage. I know that's real.
Yeah.
And so people are there'll be a flight towards realism.
I think you're right.
And there will be a flight towards, well, at least I can guarantee human connection here. Because this stuff is just spamming me.
Yeah.
It's spamming me. And it's like a gorge of it now.
But it's creating a loneliness in people.
Yes, but it's also it's spamming.
Yeah.
In other words, the actual, if you like, novelty of the AI has already worn off.
Oh, it's gone. Yeah.
And it hasn't even reached its peak yet.
Yeah.
But you're already going, I'm sick of you already.
Yeah. Like I have no interest in it, really.
It's really weird. And comedians will have to, I was speaking about this with Russell Howard last week, comedy, and I suppose stage performers as well, to include you in that, will survive. Because
completely. Thrive,
and I don't mean holograms of us. I mean, we're there on the night.
Yeah, but also to loop back to your question, like, I think what's happened is, like, the kids of today, magicians I'm talking about, we'll just talk about magicians for a moment because you asked about magicians. They don't know, they've no interest in reading, so they don't know the history of magic, right? They've no interest actually in learning the trade properly. So, like, here's where I don't know how many young magicians come to me for advice. Even now, they still come to me for advice. I give them advice, but all I can give them is how I made it to where I've made it, right? I burnt my hands on the McDonald's toasters down in Waterford. I worked at McDonald's on the side to make enough money to then buy the tricks that I wanted to buy. And then I went into all the talent shows in Waterford, the live, real talent shows in all the pubs. But then I also, did kids' parties. I was the kids' magician on the boats from Rosslare to Roscoff and Cherbourg. Like, I went out and just learned, performed. Whereas the kids these days go, like, how do I make it? Like, how do I get on Britain's Got Talent? How do I get on America's Got Talent? Like, they think that that's the key to their success, is getting on those talent shows.
They want the end game before they even start.
Yeah, exactly.
So they don't want to fall in love with the thing. They don't want the process. They don't want the journey. They don't want I'm not going to use the old cliche of work, but they don't really want the work.
No, they don't want the work.
But they don't want to fall in love with it either.
No.
Which is what you did, was fell in love with it.
Yeah, and even now, like, part of the reason that I'm touring is because I love it. Like, I love it.
Yeah, you've often said that, didn't you? You often said that. That's not a put on. You really...
No.
Although you don't want to be away from your family so much, and although you don't want to necessarily sacrifice it all for those lucrative corporates, you do love the act of being in front of people.
Completely. And for me, I don't love, like, I can tell you what I don't love. I don't love television, right? I never did. Right? It's a means to an end, okay? I don't particularly love social media. It's a means to an end. I love being on stage. I love and I love the corporate work, but I have to be reserved, right? So I can't be fully myself because I have to be very mindful that it's a multicultural audience. You got to be very careful what you say, what
Correct.
you do. You got to be very careful with the material that you select to perform that environment.
Yes.
Whereas the one thing where people can really actually get to see me as me, because I'm the boss, I'm in charge, and if you don't enjoy the night, it's on me, is when I'm on stage live with a live show that I put on sale to the general public, because that's a show that I've written myself, that I've directed myself, that I've produced myself. Yes, I have external help,
and that your people have come in to see and pay in to see you.
Exactly.
So they're your tribe.
So that's the bit that I love the most. And I love so here's something we didn't talk about, but just real quick. My daughter's 17 now, right?
Yeah. And
her name is Brianna. And I always have to overpronunciate the B, because otherwise people think it's Rihanna and she goes nuts, right? Anyway, Brianna. And when she was born is when the corporate work really kind of took off for me. So I'm at this corporate work a long time. So that's 17 years ago, right? And I said to myself, I better start playing it a bit safer now in the public world, meaning on stage. So I had my show Mind Games, which was a safe enough show.
Brain Hacker,
all those shows. Before she was born, I had The Asylum, The Dark Side, and The 8 Deadly Sins. They were mental. They were bonkers, right? All kinds of shenanigans were going on in those. And for the last couple of years, since she's in her teens, she keeps saying, I really want to see some of those crazier shows that you did. Like, Dad, I want to see the bonker stuff. So part of the reason...
Like your father said.
So part of the reason this show is called Unhinged is it is unhinged. I mean, I've got scorpions potentially going into my mouth, right? I've got, like, mad shenanigans with hypnosis. I've got a seance. And now all of a sudden, my daughter's saying to me, geez, Dad, you're going a bit far there. And I'm like, you asked for it.
Yeah.
And now you're getting it in spades.
Yeah.
Right? So that's part of the reason that the show, and again, that's the part that I love, is that I kind of artistically get to create whatever I want, you know.
Yeah, that's great. Other comedians, I'll just name David Copperfield. Give us just
magician, not comedian, but yes.
Sorry, magician. What do you think?
Do you know what? He is brilliant. Like, he's the best.
Is he live?
Yeah, he still performs something like 600 shows a year in Vegas. He does 2 a day.
Does he?
Yeah, in Vegas. He's been based in Vegas for years, and he's just a monster when it comes to doing so many shows. I mean, it's. I would never want that, right? I'd never want.
That strikes me as he has no time off, really.
No, he doesn't. Like, he ends up collapsing a couple of times a year and goes to the hospital because he's just wrecked all the time, you know.
Can he not stop doing it? Is that what
I
it
think
is?
he's addicted, addicted to the...
What do you think of his thing?
Well, see, I haven't seen his show now in a long, long time, right? But I did see him, actually. He played the 3 Arena. He came to the Point. It was known as the Point at the time. And weirdly, he took Mairead, my wife, up on stage for one of the routines. But nonetheless... look, I looked up to him and admired him as a young child, and certainly into my teens. Like, he made the Statue of Liberty vanish. This is all people out there. Listen, we have to remind ourselves. There's no AI, right? There was he was really doing these things. Yes, they were illusions, right? Yeah. But he walked through the Great Wall of China. And I was looking at that going, wow.
I know.
Like, wow.
I know.
Now, the last time I saw his show, I did see it a few times. I'm going to have to say that he looked a little bit jaded himself. And he must be just tired.
Yeah, right.
He has to be tired.
Ian told me a story. I hope he doesn't mind me telling this story. I don't think he will. Ian told me a story about seeing Copperfield in the Point.
Oh, yeah.
And there's this amazing trick. You might know.
I know what you're going to tell me. Where he makes 13. It was called 13. He makes 13 people vanish. No,
I don't think so.
Okay,
well, maybe it is, but there's an aspect of the trick, right?
Yeah.
So basically, he's standing on stage.
Yeah.
And then a second later, he's standing at the complete end of the theatre.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Do you know this one?
Yeah.
Okay. So Ian saw it the first time and he went, "That's unbelievable."
Yeah.
But the producer rang Ian, or the promoter rang Ian and said, "Ian, do you want to come back into the show tomorrow night?" Okay. And Ian went, "Why?" "I just want to show you something." And he went, "You know when he makes himself disappear and he gets to the back of the thing?
Yeah.
When he throws when he goes for it, right? Don't look to the side.
Yeah.
Sorry, don't look where he's telling you to look. Just look to the side slightly. To your left. Where? To my left. Yeah. Just when he goes, boom.
Yeah.
Look over to your left.
Yeah.
And when he looks over to his left, what does he see? He sees the thing, and Ian looks over to his left. The whole audience is looking over towards the back. Yeah. He sees Copperfield running.
Sprinting.
Running out through the back to take his place up. Sprinting.
Yeah.
And he went, "That's the fucking trick." Because it was just diversion.
Yeah, it's misdirection. And taking people's attention away. But look, I wouldn't take anything away from him.
No, but I'm saying that's the trick.
Oh, yeah, but what I mean is he's still probably, as an illusionist, he's the greatest that has ever come.
What about Dynamo?
Great, yeah, like Dynamo I know. I actually helped him on his first live tour.
Did you?
Yeah, I gave him... I hope he's listening to this. I gave him a day for free in London. He owes me one still.
Yeah.
So when he went live, from TV to doing live shows, he hadn't done a lot of live work. So they asked me to go over and give them a hand. And they started asking me about tricks. And I said, forget about the tricks. Just stand up there. And I was talking to Dynamo. I said, stand up there and show me how you're going to address a crowd. Like, how are you going to say hello to the crowd when you walk on stage? And he kind of went... "Hi, I'm Dynamo." I was like, okay, we're just going to start there. Forget the tricks. The tricks mean nothing. I mean that, Mario.
No,
the tricks are nothing.
No, I know.
Like,
that's what I'm getting at.
It's all about the connection, how you perform, the patter, the misdirection, right? The tricks take care of themselves. I'll always invent tricks, right? But it's like how you perform this stuff. So, look, Dynamo's great. He's got Crohn's disease, so he's battling with that all the time.
Oh dear, that's a serious disease.
Yeah, so that kind of knocks him out sometimes. But he's doing a lot of... smaller shows, which I think suit him better, if I'm being honest, right? Not to say his big show wasn't good. It was good.
Yeah.
But his smaller shows, I think, are better.
Yeah.
So he's in the Boulevard Theatre.
David Blaine.
Complicated.
Okay.
I like him.
Yeah.
Look, again, I wouldn't be sitting here, I don't think, if it was for him. So first of all, I got to give credit for that, because it was back in, I always get the years mixed up, but it was either 94 or 98 when his first special came out. And that changed the game, because he figured out a model where you turn the camera and put it on the reaction of the person.
Yeah.
And we all realised, wow, that's actually the way to go. Right?
Magic.
And then
that's magic, yeah.
And then my first TV series was 2003. And I don't think RTE would have given me my first TV series if he hadn't approved the model first.
Yeah.
Right? So he opened up the door for Dynamo. He opened up the door for me, Darren Brown. So none of us, I don't think, would be on TV if it wasn't for David Blaine. I've met him a couple of times. I would consider him a friend.
Would you? When you say complicated, is he?
Yeah, but I'd
openly or something.
I'd openly say here, and he can be moody sometimes.
Okay,
forgive me, David, for saying that.
I
right?
know what you mean. Okay,
but I've been in a couple of environments where
can be tricky.
He didn't talk to me for a couple of years.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What about, because I said something like this that I felt moody.
Okay.
And then
what about Darren Brown?
Probably, I would say, going to go down in history. We're in an interesting time. So ahead of any other illusionist, Copperfield will be the number one illusionist that ever lived. I would say Darren will probably go down in history as the number one mentalist that has ever lived.
Wow.
Like, he's that good.
You like him?
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, he's that good. Like,
do you know what I think I like about him? He has a very defined quality.
Yeah,
it's charm.
Yeah, completely.
So he basically goes, I'm the guy who could walk in on you with your wife when you're in a restaurant, sit down at the table, and you would actually let me there, and both of you would be charmed by me. And I'm going, why the fuck am I sacrificing my date with my girlfriend or my wife? And this stranger has just walked in, and we're both in love with them.
Yeah. It's that worldly British charm. It's that uniquely British
suave.
Charm, I think. Yeah, suave.
And very persuasive.
And classy.
Classy, yeah. Persuasive. Yeah. So you trust him.
Yes.
So he builds trust.
Yeah, but amazing. Look, I've nothing. I've never met him, but I've nothing but good things to say.
Yeah.
About Darren and the work that he's done.
You're the only, like, when people say, I don't know, sorry, Pep, correct me if I'm wrong and help me out here. But like when people go Ireland magician, you're the only one, really. Now I know, excuse me, that there are lots of other magicians out there. I actually know a couple of them.
Yeah.
But they're not really well known.
No.
Whereas you are. Why aren't there more well known magicians? And if there are some good magicians out there, do you know any? I forget if it's good. I mean, one,
yeah, look, I know a lot of the magicians out there. And look, I started off as a magician. I'm complicated because I do so many different things. So I think now the umbrella term for me is brain hacker.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm happy. I don't shy away from the fact that I was a magician. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just don't do a lot of magic anymore. So brain hacker is an easier term for me.
Yeah.
But ultimately, look, I mean, I think we should give a shout out to a couple of magicians out there. There's a guy up the north. He is well known. So Joel Mowini. So Joel M, I think he goes as under his socials. Like, he got something mental, like 15 or 17 million followers on TikTok. So we don't know them, but the younger generation know these kids. Colin Dawson, Collie Jolly.
I know Collie, yeah.
Collie's one of my best mates.
Yeah.
Do you know? And he's a great comedy magician.
Yes.
Right? So he does comedy magic. And then there's a plethora of them out there. There's one down in Cork, Ger Carney, and he's well known in the magic world. He makes some effects for magicians behind the scenes. So I buy some of his effects, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And more for when I'm in a bar hanging out with the lads trying out a trick. But he's a great magician as well. And one of my mentors is still alive, Tony Sadar. He's 86 and still working as a hypnotist. So he's a hypnotist in Cabinteely. But back to your question, I think we're in a world now where TV is just really hard for magicians because there's so much exposure out there, and there's just, especially in Ireland, you need big budgets for a good magic show. Yeah. You don't need big budgets. Forgive me if I'm wrong on this, for like a really good comedy show.
You do need a fairly big budget for a sketch show because it's multiple setups.
But sketch, but I'm talking about just comedy, like pure comedy, stand-up comedy.
But nowadays there's no budgets. You're right, because people now, what they want to do is just put two cameras on, two people, and do a podcast and go. If we have nice cameras and the content is good, that'll be a TV show. Yeah,
like I'll give you an example. Right, if I was to do a trick. Well, if I was doing magic now, I was doing a trick where, for example, I wanted you to levitate there, right? And if I was doing it without your knowledge, right? So we'll just imagine I hypnotize you, levitate, and it looks amazing for TV. Like, that one thing that's going to take like 5 minutes of a TV show, it's probably going to cost 25 to 30,000 euros.
And nobody will believe it.
Yeah, but like nobody in Ireland, no network in Ireland is paying that money for that.
No, but also nobody will really, less so now, people will sort of buy into it because of the stupid world we're living in.
Yeah,
in a
like
way.
I think people will still like. I'll show you afterwards. Like I just bumped into Chloe Coyce, and again, she's an Instagrammer, right? So she's a content creator. She's got 170,000 followers or something like that. She's from Limerick. I bumped into her, filmed with her, and people do understand that's real, right? They understand that.
They understand that, yes.
Yeah, but I think to loop back to it, I think it's just really hard to get through the noise now because it seems like everybody's a creator. Everybody's an influencer. Everybody wants to be somebody. And I personally have a problem with that, by the way, because not everybody's an entertainer. Like, not everybody's a comedian. Not everybody's a sketch artist.
No, everybody's got a book, and it doesn't mean they should write it.
Everybody feels like they are now. Do you know what I mean? So, but it's hard to get through that noise because the algorithms are designed a certain way. And then it's hard to do TV because the budgets are so low. So you're in that bind.
Yeah.
I'm lucky, and I think you're lucky as well, that anecdotally we had a good long run of it when the TV budgets were actually okay back in the day, and we could afford to do. And then we're kind of known brands, and then we've got our socials as well. So I think it's more difficult now for the younger generation to kind of burst through that noise, you know.
Keith, this is basically, even though you're not really saying it, it's 25 years of you, and this might be your last tour, and you've thrown everything at it. You've thrown the book at it. You've thrown the kitchen sink, the scorpion at it, everything. And you're going to do it in the 3 Arena and loads of other dates as well. Details on Keith's website, but also MCD, Ticketmaster for tickets, and get in and see Keith. I think the 3 Arena gig will be in February, what?
February 7th.
Is that a Friday or Saturday night?
Saturday night.
Saturday night.
Saturday night.
The best night of the week.
Yeah.
Saturday night, February. Or February 7th?
February 7th.
February 7th, Saturday night in 3 Arena to see Keith, maybe for the last time on an Irish stage, doing what he does best, being in person, entertaining you all, brain hacking, and being unhinged. Keith Barry, thanks very much.
Thanks for having me. Cheers. Thanks.
And my thanks to Keith Barry for coming in and talking to me about his new tour and indeed his career to date. Best of luck to Keith, my old Waterford buddy, on his new tour and that great show in the 3 Arena in February. My thanks to On Ice, Ireland's premium ice skating experience, who are back this season nationwide: Dundrum and Swords, Marina Market in Cork, and Waterford and Limerick. Get down there. And my thanks, of course, most especially to you. If you enjoy this podcast, as a rule, tell one other person if you can. I'd be most grateful. Thank you, and see you same time, same place next week.